Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Thanks for having me.
Oh, it is a pleasure to have you, and today we are continuing our 52-year journey through film. This is our third movie of May. We've wrapped up the 80s. We did the 80s award ceremony, and we're here now. It's time for the 90s, and we're kicking it off with 1990s Goodfellas. And it was pretty much not even a question. Like, it was like, well, if we're going to cover a movie from 1990, it's probably going to be Goodfellas, because this stands as pretty iconic today, considered one of the greatest movies of all time. And this was your first viewing, right, Joe?
It was, yes. First time I've ever seen this. Definitely glad it's in my repertoire of movies now.
Oh, yes. Good one to have. Good one to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not my first watch, but I did not... I'd seen it. It's another one of those that I'd seen a long time ago. And then a couple months back, I gave it my first official watch. So this was like my second time really watching the movie, and it was every bit as good as the last time I watched it. I really, really enjoy this. Let me lay the groundwork for the people. We've got Goodfellas, released on September 21st, 1990, based on the book by Nicholas Pileggi, screenplay by Nicholas Pileggi and Martin Scorsese, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, Lorraine Bracco. It just goes on and on. It had quite the cast, quite the production team behind it. Like, this movie fucking rocks.
Yeah, it does. As a first watch, coming out, I'd say the instant, comparison that people would make would be to The Godfather. Like, how does this compare to The Godfather? And I would say that they're two different movies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're at all really that similar. Even though they're both mob movies, like, the scope just seems different for both movies.
Oh, absolutely.
I guess I don't know. I guess it's kind of the same story, but
I mean, not really at all.
Yeah.
You know, in the Godfather, we see the rise of Michael Corleone and the fall of every other family. Meanwhile, we're not dealing with top guys here. We're dealing with mostly middle of the road guys. Like, we hardly have made men in this movie.
That's true.
Like, these are mostly associates of the mob. These that Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta play, and Tommy, played by Joe Pesci. Interestingly enough, 1990, also the year that Home Alone came out. So Joe Pesci had a year in 1990 as he was in Goodfellas and Home Alone, and completely different performances. Yeah. I guess not completely. He played a shitty crook. Either way.
It was. I mean, this was way more Sopranos-like than The Godfather. That's for sure.
No, yeah, it is so clear that, like, while it might have been general things influenced The Sopranos from The Godfather, like little Easter eggs and stuff that you can know, like the filmmaking style of David Chase and the way he does things is a lot more inspired by Martin Scorsese and Goodfellas. No, yeah, I mean, Henry Hill, Ray Liotta, Christopher Moltisanti couldn't be more based off a character.
Yeah. And it's just funny that he's in here too. He gets murked.
Spider, yeah.
Yeah, he sat. Kind of
Lots,
tragic.
tons of Sopranos crossover.
You got Uncle June. For a brief, he just walks across. He's got a big gut on him here.
Oh no shit! I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, just one scene, he just walks across, and I was like, I swear to God, that's him. And on IMDb's right there. Yeah.
No shit, Dominic Chianese.
Yep.
Holy shit! No, yeah, I was a lot of Sopranos crossover. We got Lorraine Bracco, who is Karen Hill, the wife to Henry Hill, who is also Dr. Melfi. Pretty huge role in The Sopranos. Spider, played by Michael Imperioli, who is also Chrissy Moltisanti. We got Tony Sirico popping up at the beginning as Muscle. He plays Polly in The Sopranos. Billy Batts. I don't know if you've met Phil Leotardo yet in The Sopranos. Becomes a pretty big role in the last couple seasons.
It's about to Google. Stop myself early.
The guy who plays Billy Batts, the one that they whack in the restaurant in the middle of the movie. They just curb stomp him.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy pops up in The Sopranos as well. So they kept it in the fucking family, man. They're like, you're in mob movies, you're in our mob movie. You know what I'm saying? I
think Joey Diaz was even in there.
Did Joey Diaz pop up?
Yeah, he was in they were. It was when they were going on their first date, and he went through the bottom, the underneath entrance, and he was walking through the kitchen, everything, and then he was pushing a rack of coats and suit jackets and stuff like that. Like Joey Diaz was an extra. But he didn't have a line even, I don't think. He was just there. And I don't know. It was just I think I'm pretty sure it was him. It looked a whole lot like him. But
no, yeah, this movie it's great. And if nothing else, the distinct Scorsese flavor, where you've got this guy or Karen, it seemed to be them two who were narrating the whole thing, and it comes together at the end that the reason it's them narrating the whole thing is because it's them testifying, it's them snitching. They're literally telling their story to the FBI, which is just a great storytelling method. It reminds me of, have you seen The Wolf of Wall Street?
Mm-hmm.
Henry Hill and Jordan Belfort are used the exact same way.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Both
right
directed
there.
by Martin Scorsese. They just clearly have those tones to go with them. And the Martin Scorsese formula, where you get one character who it's really about, really centered around. In this movie, it's Henry Hill, Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle. You're just around this person, and the story we're telling might not be the most to the point. It might not be the most hey, we've got our rising action and our climax and everything that goes along with it. But nevertheless, we're watching the events of these characters' lives, just kind of being with them for a couple hours. Or however long the movie takes, and you're just watching them do what to them is their everyday shit. Even though to us, it's some of the most outrageous shit you've ever seen.
Yeah, a normal life to them is a normal day or a slow day. For them is, I don't know. That's a normal day for me. Is I don't leave my house. That's a normal day. I don't even leave my house, but they got to leave their house for even a phone call. So you got someone to take care of it for you, but
the whole fucking last 30 to 40 minutes where Henry Hill is anxious as fuck that this helicopter he's seeing, as he is going from one place to another the entire fucking day. He cannot stay in one spot the whole day. He just sees a helicopter above him that whole time. And the way they handled his paranoia was the funniest and most accurate shit I've ever seen in my life. The whole nah, what the fuck? What the fuck would they be on me for? There's no way this is all the same for me.
No way. I just deal with cocaine and
Yeah, and
the
Karen being like,
mafia.
"No, you're paranoid. You're paranoid. It'll be okay." Yeah, like,
No way, no connection, no correlation.
oh, I see it. I see it. Oh God, no, that shit was hilarious. I mean, and that's what's also funny about Martin Scorsese's movies that so clearly influenced David Chase and The Sopranos creation is like the just dash of comedy where like nobody says anything particularly funny, but they are handling the situation, an outrageous situation, like it is the most normal shit they've ever done. Like,
Yeah.
like when fucking Tommy and Henry are outside the restaurant as they're burning it down, and he's over here talking about, oh, fucking Jewish girl won't date Italian guys. Like, what the fuck? You know, like
What's the
he's
world
over here.
coming to these days?
What's
Yeah,
the
he
world
says.
coming
Yeah.
to? And Henry's just like, Jesus fucking Christ, guy. And he's like, oh, look at you talking. And I meant, like, the building starts burning up. Like, they'll just, like, they'll murder a motherfucker. They'll shoot Samuel L. Jackson in the back of the head and make that coffee to go. You know, like,
Yeah, I
no,
was
it's
like,
a fucking
what
joke.
the
It's a
was like,
fucking
what
joke.
the-
Put the coffee tin down.
I had no idea this dude was gonna get popped. I was like, oh, Samuel Jackson, cool. I didn't know he was gonna be in this movie. Oh man, like what the fuck is that? But
No, it's crazy. The cast this movie has, because some of them haven't hit yet. Like Samuel L. Jackson isn't famous yet. Like he's still a working actor. You know what I'm saying? And Michael Imperioli, I mean, he never really hit the rise to like movie stardom or anything, but he was Christopher Moltisanti on the most popular television show for a decade. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like these actors went on to, I mean, Robert De Niro, we covered him 16 years ago on a 1974 movie, and like it's just crazy the kind of like span this movie reaches in terms of like just how long these people have been famous or how much later they became famous. Like we still get movies with Samuel L. Jackson, obviously. Plenty of roles out of Sam Jackson, and he's just a tiny role in this movie.
And how long, like, inside the movie's timeline, like this movie covered just a lot of time, like from his childhood all the way up until, you know, he ratted on him at least, you know, and went to witness protection. So like it's a good 40 years, I'd say, or like 35.
Yeah, and you know,
years,
like
I don't know, like
especially in like the jump we take from him being a small child, but they take you through his entire childhood. Like they got different aged kids to get like 4 different stages of childhood. It wasn't like he was just all of a sudden a teenager. Like they really expressed how long it took to change. And then the guy who played teenage Ray Liotta, like the kid Ray Liotta, was fucking perfect. Looked just like him. That was impeccable. And the way that he like described coming up around these guys, like, all my life I always wanted to be a gangster. Like, tell me that very line didn't just create Christopher Moltisanti all on its own. All my life, all I've ever wanted to be was a gangster. The way, like, he's obsessed with the lifestyle. He doesn't want to whack anybody.
That's the opening line to the movie, man. That's the opening line. All my life, like, oh my god, I was like, oh, I like, you know, I've never seen this movie, but I knew of that line.
Oh yeah, you were like, oh, this is immediately a classic. Like you heard that and you're like, yeah, okay.
Oh, okay, I'm in.
It opens with the fucking dum 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 dum, and you're like, what the fuck is that? You got a flat tire?
I was in, man. This was I don't know. This was an awesome movie. Like I loved it. I loved, like, just the character interactions, you know, like you really like got the whole I don't know, like same stuff like in The Sopranos, like the relationships, like you knew like little things between two people and like little things between, like, I don't know, like really like within this movie you really got to know these people like a whole lot, which was like crazy.
It's really impressive. Like the amount of people who we like generally just understand. Like there's not like, I don't really have a doubt about what anybody's going to do. I'm pretty confident this guy's going to get whacked by this guy. I'm pretty confident this guy's going to have something to do with it. Like I'm And it's not the most unpredictable movie of all time either, which is really interesting. Because I mean, we're obviously familiar with mob stories as a whole, and this is generally a framework for most mob stories and is considered one of the classics. So like, we generally know how a lot of these guys work, at least in movies. So maybe that extra background knowledge helps. But the way you're just like, well, Joe Pesci's going to be a fucking problem the whole movie.
Dude,
like they're all pieces of shit. But
some more
Tommy
than others.
DeVito was a cut above in terms of piece of shittery.
Man, yeah, I mean,
all right, I'm a good fucking shot. What do you want me to do?
Dude was unhinged. He just like, I don't know,
dance.
He really couldn't take any, shit talk. He wasn't going to take it.
Napoleon complex, man. He's like, he had to act all big and tough. So anytime someone came at him, he's like, all right, I'll shoot you.
I don't know. The shoe shiner guy kind of got it coming to him.
I mean, he got an ass beating coming to him for sure. Like,
maybe not death, true.
Yeah, like,
but like he asked for it. Him like that last little go grab your fucking shoe shining box, bitch boy.
Yeah, like he knew what he was
like,
doing. He knew that was what was escalating it. Like he knew for a fact, as soon as I say this is going to escalate. So that's on him. But there's no doubt that Tommy's the instigator in essentially every situation he's in. The very fucking beginning of the movie, he's telling a fucking joke. He's telling a funny story. Someone laughs. Someone tells him he's funny. He goes, "What do you mean by that? What, fuck, I'm funny to you? Well, like a fucking clown? You think I'm funny? What, you want me to tell jokes and make balloons for your kids? What, do you think I'm fucking funny?" And I love the way that Ray Liotta is just like, because I don't know if you've been not quite in that specific position, but in a general position where you're like, oh, is this guy really fucking angry right now?
Yes. No, I think everyone's been in this spot. Everyone has been in this awkward spot where you don't know, because there is a time where he is he for real or is he fucking with me? And then he's I'll go with that. He's fucking with me and I'll make it a joke. And well,
and that's what's funny is he plays it safe at first because, he's dealing with Tommy. He's like, this guy could really pull a gun on me and shoot me right now. I don't really know. But like he plays it safe and he's like, he just goes silent with like a straight face, just kind of like looks at him and reads him for a while. And he's like, well, no, I don't fucking know. What's funny? What's funny about me? You tell the joke. You're funny. You're a funny guy, and like just the way he was handling it's like, yeah, there's no other way to go about it because that's
how else are you gonna say it? Like the way that you ordered your words made me laugh.
And then you do that and you're belittling him.
Yeah.
So he's gonna get even more mad.
Yeah, like, oh, what an awkward situation. Like, oh, just sucks. Like, I don't know. Maybe everyone hasn't had a situation like that, but I feel like it's pretty common.
Yeah, not like exactly. Obviously, like you don't think you're under like threat of death, maybe, but like you're in the situation where you're like, oh, this guy, like,
oh, they're actually mad at me, and like, oh, I was just like completely like,
no, yeah, like one time it was me, Michael, Trenton, and Hunter, and we were like freshmen in high school. They were staying the night at my house. It's a weeknight, but we don't have school the next day. We're up late as fuck, loud as fuck in my room. And my dad comes bursting in to let us know, shut the fuck up. I've got work tomorrow. And I know that when my dad comes into my room and tells us to shut the fuck up, that means shut the fuck up. He's serious. At this point, Trenton doesn't know my dad all that well. And my dad likes to shoot the shit. He's a pretty funny guy. He's and all in all a good dude. It's not like he was regularly fucking flipping on us, but you knew when he did, it was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Trenton lets out a laugh because all he's ever seen my dad do is fuck around. And my dad was just like, it was funny because it kind of like flipped the script on him where it was like, now he doesn't even know what to do because he's like, I really didn't think one of y'all would fucking laugh at me when I came in here. But then like he went ahead and yelled anyway. And Trenton was like, Like he just like snapped the fuck down. So like that's a good example of whenever someone is mad, go ahead and handle it like they're mad initially. Don't handle it like a joke because it
That's
can
true.
go bad.
That is the worst alternative. Is if you're handling it like a joke and it's not. You would much rather it be a joke and you're handling it like it isn't than for it to not be a joke and act like it is. That's a
No, but how about you've seen this gif, right, of Ray Liotta reacting to Joe Pesci's story? Mouth agape, laughing his ass off. Like he leans up in his seat.
Dude, is that his real laugh?
Yes. He laughs like that in every role. No, because he's in Many Saints of Newark as Chrissy Moltisanti's uncle, or not uncle, grandpa, actually. Interestingly enough, that little connection. He plays Henry Hill, who inspired Christopher Moltisanti, goes on to play Christopher Moltisanti's grandpa in the prequel movie. I think that's cool.
Wow.
But there's a moment in that movie where, and like maybe it's not actually how he laughs, and he's playing like the mob role both times, so maybe there's something there. But he's like telling a story and he can't get through it, and like I like Ray Liotta as a young guy, but man, when he was old, it just got even more raspy and obnoxious and just like, oh my God, dude, I need you to shut up right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't. It was the only thing about this movie where I was like, is he putting on a bit? Like, is this like, there's no way this is like his real
he
laugh,
just drops
right?
that fucking jaw and yells his laughs. Like,
and like, yeah. And even like whenever he's just like, lets one out, like a, like a,
yeah,
it's like so weird. I don't know. It's like, it just seems disgenuine every time he laughs. Like, it doesn't seem genuine at all every time he laughs.
There's a moment in the movie where it doesn't seem like you see all these dudes have learned from earlier in the movie, and Tommy's sitting there telling a story, and it's when Jimmy was thinking about getting the wig salesman guy whacked. And Tommy's telling a story, and everyone's there like, ah! Like just laughing at the top of their lungs. Like, no, you can tell nobody is fucking listening. They're all just like, this guy's talking. He's telling a funny story. We have to laugh because if we don't, he's gonna shoot one of us. And it comes to the point where like the camera goes to like to Henry and Jimmy, and they're both just like looking at him like with the most disingenuine laugh I've ever heard in my life. And then he literally one of them stops laughing, Jimmy, and goes, you know what, forget about tonight. Like we don't have to worry about it. We're having a good time. We're all here fake laughing. He's a good guy.
I mean, like, but they still killed him, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was to get Henry. I think it was just to clear Henry of that whole situation because he wasn't the one in the driver's seat.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was for like the entire scene.
I thought he was saying like we're not gonna kill him. Like you know what? Like we're gonna keep him alive. Like he's a good. Oh, but it was just to not
maybe
have Henry involved.
I guess maybe it was like I don't know if Henry took it as we're gonna go ahead and kill him. Don't worry about it, because he said it was like a weight off my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think, I mean, although he was a pretty big piece of shit by this point, maybe he was just like, okay, I get it. Y'all are going to kill him and I don't have to be a part of it. And maybe that's the case. You know, he did have the best relationship with him. So it's like, I don't have to be a part of his killing, but I understand that he's going to get killed.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. Because I was like, I don't know. I was a little confused. I'm like, wait, like, why did he say that? If they just like literally seconds later put an ice pick in his brain. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That was brutal. And you know, it's moments like that where it's like, okay, maybe the movie isn't too predictable at points. The general broad strokes were, but there are definitely moments where you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were just like, you know what? Like we'll keep him around. You know, he's like our little joke of a guy, you know, like we'll keep him around, whatever. And then
hey, Spider, give me a drink, will you?
Damn. That's rough, man. gets shot in the foot, and then says, "Go fuck yourself, dude." Literally, I've been walking on one foot for weeks now. This sucks. My foot has a hole in it. Go fuck yourself correctly, Attaboy, attaboy. I'm about calling him Chris, but
I
attaboy
mean, he is
Spider.
Chrissy. He's
Yeah,
always Chrissy.
attaboy Spider. But then,
No, yeah, and I loved the way that like he was fucking with him. He's like, next time we see him, he's gonna have a fucking walker. He comes in here. He's fucking wobbly. And he's like, yeah, shut the fuck up, okay? And I was like, fuck yeah, Spider, do you think? And I love that Jimmy had the same reaction. He was like, oh. Did I just
here's
fucking
some
hear
money,
what
bro.
I just heard?
Yeah, he put some money down for him. He was like,
hey, respect. I respect you. Hey, you're just gonna, and then like he had to instigate.
mm-hmm.
You're just gonna let this fucking guy do that? You shoot him in the foot, and he tells you to go fuck yourself. You're gonna let him do that? And he's like, no, I won't. He shoots him like 4 times in the chest. Like, what are you thinking? What? I'm a good shot. What? And then someone's like, well, how are you going to miss from this distance? Like all the little throw-ins like that are what like kind of make this. And those are the things that I feel like thoroughly influenced Sopranos. Like just the little details, like little things people say that are just like, this scene didn't have to be funny. And then they were like, well, what do you think? You were going to miss him from this distance? And like, it was a dude who was like genuinely like, fuck. Like,
No, yeah, this was I got so many Sopranos vibes while watching this. I'm like, oh my god, I'm basically watching The Sopranos if it were just a movie. Like this is literally like what it would be like almost. And like having Karen Hill, literally be like the same actress and everything. Like it helped. It was like I'm thinking of The Sopranos the entire time I'm like watching this movie.
And it's interesting because you get her playing the Carmela role. You get her playing the mob wife, which is just exquisite. Like that just makes it all the better. You get this well-rounded view of this character who ultimately was drawn in by the same things. Just in different ways. One setting, she's the therapist who is excited by the things this patient brings to her table, and on the other, she's the wife who is very excited by the things this man brings to the table.
It's so funny. It's like herself outside of both, like in the extended universe. She learned from Goodfellas and became the therapist just for like it's her lineage, like she understands. She can actually, advise Tony because she's been through it, like
right.
Which I don't know. It's just
she went on the lam, and Dr. Melfi is Karen Hill and witness protection. You know what I'm saying? That sort of beat.
What a theory! That's a good theory. Maybe these universes are connected.
Something to think about.
When the multiverse breaks out, whenever Disney owns the world, and whenever the Sopranos and Marvel are in the same universe, we'll get something. But no.
We'll get a crossover.
I gotta get my brain off Marvel here. Oh my god! But
now, there's actually a line in this movie that I think inspired a whole conversation in The Sopranos between a couple characters. And you haven't seen it yet, so I won't like spoil who the conversation's between or anything. But the general idea of it is like, so what happens? If someone comes up and whacks you, do you even hear it? And Henry Hill, when he gets pulled up on by the cops, he's like, oh, I knew as soon as I heard all that noise, it was cops. Because if it was wise guys, I wouldn't have heard a fucking thing. I was like, oh, shit.
They come to you smiling as your friends, he said. Yeah, I mean, it's fair, That dude is paranoid for a pretty good reason. I don't know, I was kind of expecting them all to become made men by the end. I was like, oh, like, okay, they're eventually going to do something where they're all going to be made, whatever. And then I didn't even think about having to be 100% Italian to become a made man. Is that like
Yeah,
a
and they're
thing
Irishmen.
always?
It was
Mm.
that eventually changed.
I was gonna say because I don't remember like I
I
don't know.
think
I didn't know that before watching this. So
I think now I read like a Kansas City Mafia book just a couple months back, and like as of when that was published, it was 50%. They had been like, okay, not a lot of people coming over on the boat anymore. Let's go ahead and open this bad bitch up a little bit.
fair, yeah. World's a little more open,
So
in
yeah, in
like
the modern day, Hank Hill could have been made.
damn. It's born in the wrong time, man.
50% Sicilian.
Mm.
Siciliano.
But man, like I don't know, this cast was insane. Like just seeing like just person after like I guess I don't know. Like yeah, I guess now that I'm thinking like they wouldn't be big yet like the people I'm thinking of so but I mean, I don't know, this like just seeing De Niro like after watching Taxi Driver like to have this role, I don't know, this just like suits him so much better. Like
Oh right. Like
yeah, like
he's not made for the psychopath role. He did good in that role, like it's like no hate or nothing, but like this is where he belongs. He belongs in this vein. It's not
he looks he just looks like he fits the role. Just looks like De Niro would be a mob guy, just like looking at him. I don't know.
There's this thing like looking at mob dudes in TV and in movies. Where like generally they're like Joe Pesci. Like they don't look hard. Like they don't look like they're gonna fuck you up.
I guess in reality, it's just a bunch of short Italian dudes that like just can't be touched because of like, So like that's the real reality. It's either like short Italian dudes or like fat, like the fat ones that just eat pasta all day.
No, see, and that's what's interesting is that like I see Rob De Niro, and like there are exceptions in movies. Like I'm not fucking with Tony Soprano. You know what I'm saying? Like
True.
I'm probably not fucking with Vito Corleone just because he looks the part. I'm not fucking with Rob De Niro. Like he even looks smaller than me generally. Like I feel like I could muscle that guy, but he also just looks skilled. Like there's something about him where you're like, I'm not trying to fuck with this guy. Like he's gonna beat my ass.
He's wise. He's a wise guy, He's
a wise guy.
A wise guy. Apparently that's what the book was called that this was based
Wise
on.
Guys by Nicholas Pileggi.
It's pretty cool. They did like I don't know, they said it a whole lot, if that was like an homage just to it.
Well,
or I don't know if that's like a
Wise
common
Guys
mom
also,
term. Like
It is. Yeah, like I think Tony's thrown it out quite a bit in The Sopranos, we're the wise guys. But yeah, and that is interesting. I don't know if that originates with the book or if it expands beyond it. I gotta imagine it goes beyond.
I'd say it's it was like a general term first.
I'd say so too. Like before Goodfella, and
1800s.
Yeah, I was gonna say that feels like an oldie. Wise guy.
The expression
wise guy,
to be
huh?
a member of the mafia, and it became the mafia meaning in the 70s. So, I guess maybe I don't know when the book came out, but
I think it was the book couldn't have. The book couldn't have been that old in 1990 because
85.
It's based off of.
It came out in 85. Wise guy, the book.
Okay, so
5 years.
The term originates before the book in relevance to mobsters. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I guess you wouldn't. Well, I guess you could. I'd say you wouldn't market like a mob book without like a mob term. It would be better to market it like with a mob.
You're not just making up a new mob word.
But yeah, I don't know. This it's kind of interesting. Like when I look at this compared to Godfather and asking myself like, which one did I enjoy watching more? it's like a whole different.
They're made for very different reasons. Like Francis Ford Coppola making The Godfather is like trying to paint like a fucking portrait, like some sort of Renaissance portrayal of tragedy in the film, while Martin Scorsese makes a more modernized pop, like pop art sort of feel to it, just like with the vibrancy and color and like the violence. Like there was so much more violence in this than in The Godfather, like tons more.
Oh yeah.
They're just made for like completely different reasons, and it's really interesting when I like think about it. And coming off my second viewing, I feel like I have a little bit more of a like not level head in terms of like fairly evaluating this movie. First watch, I go, oh yeah, that and Godfather. Those are easily top two, and I'm not sure which I'm gonna put above the other. Coming off the second watch, I go Godfather. Goodfellas is great. Like I enjoy Goodfellas a great deal. But what's something that's really interesting to me is that this is widely regarded as a top 10 movie of all time.
Well, The Godfather's a top 3 movie of all time, pretty much.
Right,
Top 5,
right.
you know.
No, yeah, like I don't mean in comparison to The Godfather necessarily anymore.
But I
like,
mean, I could see it though.
Oh, I can too. Like this is really well made and really well shot and really well acted, and it is a fantastic movie. But like,
I don't know if it makes my personal top 10.
Right, like the story itself is what kind of prevents it from elevating, while Godfather has the story to elevate it. So, like,
and I guess this is based on like true events, so they kind of had to. Is it? I don't know. It said based on a true story.
Oh no, yeah, it is. How, I like The Godfather's loosely based on real events.
Yeah, I guess
too.
That's true. I guess
so.
They had,
like,
yeah. I mean, obviously, a lot of this is made up. Like,
very dramatized.
So yeah, like, I mean, I would say like the date, like the day, that he was being like he was very paranoid, followed by the helicopter. Like the time
like May
specifically,
11th, 1980.
Like those events probably were pretty real. Like they stuck to the real world, how it happened there. But like obviously in every other part of the movie, it's made up for the movie. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, The Godfather's more of like I'd say The Godfather's more of a classic, while Goodfellas is more of, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a classic too, but like a masterpiece. Maybe that's like Godfather's more of a masterpiece, while like Goodfellas is like just a classic, like a good movie you can pull up at any time, and like people are generally gonna be okay.
That's what's interesting too, is that like we're comparing it to the Godfather. Like that's one of my top 3 favorite movies of all time in terms of what I think the best movies ever are. Like
I mean, it's a
me saying like
fantastic fucking movie.
Oh, me saying like, it's usually put top 10. That's interesting to me. Like it's no doubt top 15, top 20. Like it's like it's up there. I'd need to map it out and stuff, but like it might be top 10 for me. It's just interesting thinking about it that way, because like for Martin Scorsese's very own work, like I enjoy Wolf of Wall Street more than I enjoy this movie. Like I think that's a better movie than this.
Yeah, and like you have like the gap between 1 and 2 can be pretty small, but the gap between like 3 and 8 can be pretty big,
huge.
Like, like think of just best basketball players of all time. Like the gap between LeBron and Jordan. I mean, I guess it's kind of small, but like it does widen, as you go down the list, like for a fair margin. So like every movie doesn't have to be, there probably aren't 10 movies that are masterpieces, that we've like released yet. Like, I don't know. I don't, maybe of all time, but within this list, like,
right.
There's no way that we're going to have 20 movies that are at the same level as The Godfather, like that's just
Exactly.
not going to
Yeah.
happen. But like this, I don't know. This movie's not a disappointment at all. Like it is still
Oh
a
no,
fantastic fucking movie.
and our ratings will reflect very,
Mm.
very well. And like I said earlier, the beauty about Scorsese films often isn't necessarily that the story follows traditional story structure. It's the fact that he is willing to just show you characters doing things.
Mm.
That like really makes his movies special. Like just kind of like we're with them in their everyday activity.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, they put it like there's a lot of legitimate just explaining, like in the narrative that they do, like explaining how the mob works.
Informative.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know how true all of this is. A lot of it could just be made up for storytelling, but like it seems pretty legit. Like a lot of it seemed, like how the mob works in real life. Like.
Well, these were clearly real people too.
Yeah,
like you
so
got
I mean,
the last flashes at the end where they're like Henry Hill and Karen Hill ended up separating after 25 years of marriage in 1989.
Like when you're watching The Godfather, it's like a lot of things you just kind of have to either know or just kind of assume about the mob because they just don't directly tell you. It's not a movie where they're just going to directly tell you things. But in this one, I don't know. Like it was, you got a pretty good idea of how.
And maybe that's like the starkest contrast between the two movies is that like Godfather captures the mysticism and the sort of like shadowy nature of the mob, while Goodfellas is like, here it all is for you. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's told from the perspective of a snitch. So like
it's either like in Godfather,
like more and more I talk about it, the more I'm like, this probably is a top 10 movie.
Yeah, The Godfather, they make you an offer that you can't refuse. That's all we hear. We do see a horse head in a dude's bed. We do see a few guys get shot, but at the very, very, very end, all in quick succession. But in this movie, it's like one dude said something the wrong way, and then he gets like shot and then curb stomped and then stabbed 8 more times in the neck and the chest and then shot like 5 more times in the trunk. Like, just for saying something. Just it
is interesting thinking about the evolution of the mobster in that time period, like because we're dealing with mobsters in the 70s and 80s in Goodfellas, while we're dealing with mobsters in the 40s and early 50s in The Godfather. So like I think it's just shown like what kind of it's not devolved to, but how some have abused the idea of the lifestyle instead of the general what it was about, the respect of the community, like come with you for the family.
I think narcotics is gonna ruin this business one day. It's gonna ruin everything. Dude knew what he was talking about.
Yes, he did.
I guess. Well, no, because I mean the movie came out in the 70s, and the mob wasn't like over in the 70s. Like they were still going strong. So it's like it's not like they knew that was going to happen. I guess it was kind of a legitimate prediction. Like or just like a good one for a story that happened to turn out to be true.
I mean, like it doesn't take like it's just a few lines of thought. Like the logic that they use in Godfather is seamless.
Yeah,
like.
Cops can get behind gambling and women.
They can look away on a lot of stuff, but as soon as it's drugs, that's going to be a problem. They can't look away, and it's like that's all the logic you need. Like that's all that needed to be understood, because those come with huge sentences. And it was really interesting watching this movie like evolve from that Godfather vibe. With not the flashback, but the young Hank Hill scenes, and evolving to when he starts selling coke in his tacky ass apartment. It's like a Scarface vibe, where it's like, we've evolved quite a bit now.
Yeah, that apartment was something, man. A lot of black, and white and red. That was pretty much it.
A lot of gold.
Yeah, gold.
Plenty of gold.
Yeah, wow. That was something, man. Whenever they were like just in the corner, like huddled up, just hugging each other, crying, like, oh man, like
It was a great shot too. The way that it was framed, so you saw the dresser that was just littered in jewelry, and like I think there was like a little bit of coke on it, and like
what are
they're
we
just
gonna
sobbing.
do? We have
Oh God,
nothing. Yeah,
no!
like and then
Like she
everything around
played
them.
the distraught mob wife
Mm.
so perfectly. She played the angry wife who's here to cut your dick off perfectly. Like she nailed this role, Lorraine Bracco. There's like one shot stands as like my favorite shot of the movie, and there's like no doubt, and it's when Hank Hill's on the bed and she's like,
Oh, I knew it, dude. Yes,
dude, she's sitting above him and the camera's straight down the barrel, and it's like, oh my God, I love that.
I really
Like
thought she was gonna kill him right there. First watch, like I'm like, she might kill him right here. Like I'm expecting this gun to go off. Like I was fully expecting it. I was ready. But I guess I was fully ready for her to die whenever, hey, yeah, there's a few dresses down there. Pick some out for yourself. Like, I mean, she was probably going to die if she walked down that alley.
She would have died.
So I guess, my paranoia there was fair. But
no, yeah, she was definitely going to die if she walked down that alley. They'd already voiced their concerns with Karen far before Hank was a problem.
That's true. Even to Hank, to Hank
with
to
Paul.
himself. Yeah, like, hey, you gotta like control her. She's getting out of control. You don't know what she's gonna do next. And
she's like, and I loved the boss that they presented for us here. And what was it, Paulie? What was his last name? Paulie Cicero.
Cicero.
Yeah. The way, like, they were like, he moves slow, but he doesn't need to move a lot.
Yeah, nobody talks to him direct, or like only 5 people talk to him directly, and he doesn't like conferences. He only does the one-on-ones or whatever. Like that was I don't know.
The way he handled everything, I was like, you know what?
A lot of Tony vibe. Like I got Tony vibes. Like just like I think a lot of inspiration came from him. Like from him.
Certainly to a degree. It was interesting too because we never see him as the focus. We never see him as like the main character. We don't know how he's actually handling these situations. We just know that he presents himself in the situation with a level head and is like, this is what we're going to do. You do this, we do that. That happens. That's that. And that's just kind of how he was the whole movie. And I really fucked with Paulie Cicero. And you know what? The things that mob movies do to you as a viewer while you're watching it in terms of like who you root for and what you're pulling for and stuff is so interesting, because as soon as I'm watching a mob movie or a mob show, I'm on the mob's side.
Oh, totally, 100%.
So Hank Hill, the first time I watched this, Hank Hill's a rat, and I'm like, fuck this guy. Like, that's no matter what. That was rule number 1
and 2.
So don't say shit to anybody and don't talk to anyone.
You keep your mouth shut. Yeah, don't rat on your boys.
Keep your mouth shut.
Keep your mouth shut. Broke both of them, man. I mean, it's like, it's like serial killer stuff. Like, people go crazy for it. It's just because it's so out there for the normal person. Like, murdering someone is so out there that we don't even see it as like a bad thing in like media, like in like movies or anything. Because it's like, we would never kill someone, like that's far like removed, like that it just becomes like this null thing.
Right. And that was how I felt like, fuck this guy, fuck Hank Hill, like the first time I watched it. But the second time I watch it, I mean, he's a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong, he fucking blows. But he blows a lot less than every single person he's around.
It's true.
Like,
you really didn't have many options either. dude was like heavy. You know, he wasn't clean at all. Wasn't doing too hot. Very, very paranoid. Like, didn't really have much, nowhere to go because he can't really go back to the mob because they already think he's ratting on him and like trying to get him killed already. So like, dude had one option and it was to rat.
Oh, and that's how they get like they back you into a corner. They're like, all right, so here's the thing: we can throw you in witness protection, you can rat, or we can put you back out on the street and you'll die.
I mean, crazy that the defense lawyer was like, what do you know about being a rat? You know everything about being a rat. The lawyer was like calling him a rat in court, which was just hilarious. Like,
and it was interesting because like that is in
a court of
interesting
law
defense method.
Yeah,
no, because like he wasn't just saying like you're a rat, fuck you. He was saying like you're a rat. You'll say anything to get off. You're lying about this guy.
Oh, okay. I didn't even think. Okay, I just didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah, and I didn't think about it that way the first time I watched it either. I was like, oh, this guy's just laying into him in the middle of court. You're a fucking rat. No, he's like, you're a rat. You'll say anything. You'll say anything to get off. And he's like, I don't know anything about. You're a fucking rat. Like,
yeah, I guess that's always like what they do is they like. Do you really think this guy right here could do all of those bad things? No way. Right. Like they always play it off. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I didn't
Look
catch
at this
that.
Guy. Look at his fucking face. Look at his cute face. But there are just so many like shots in this movie that are like memorable. There's this one moment where De Niro's at the bar smoking a cigarette and a music cue kicks in and it's just like, God damn, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I loved their first date when he takes her through the secret entrance and he says like, when she really gets an idea of who he is, how he's saying hello to everybody, he's giving people some money, they're setting up the table for him. Why can't we get a table? We'll get to you in a little bit, whatever. He's saying hi to everybody. They get bottle service. What did you say it is
you do?
Yeah.
I'm in construction. And then she's holding his hand and she's like, you don't feel like you're in construction. He's like, I'm a union delegate.
It's always the same things, man. The
union delegate,
or garbage disposal. Waste management. Sorry.
Waste management. Yeah.
Sorry. Got to be
not
careful.
The sink appliance.
Mm-hmm.
But and I keep coming back to Lorraine Bracco's performance as Karen Hill. Like I really think, especially after my second viewing here, that she's probably my favorite performance in the whole movie. And the movie really is anchored by their scenes for me, like Karen and Hank's. Because there's that part where they're at the wedding and she's getting handed the money and she's like, her eyes just keep getting bigger and bigger, like, oh, this is the life, huh? Like this is what we're doing. Because she had her suspicions, obviously, up to that point, but as soon as they had that wedding reception, she was like, okay, now I know, because she met all the Pollies and Petey's. She met all the Maries.
Mm-hmm.
She got all the money, and that part where they're dancing on the floor, and she's like, What about the bag? What about the bag? And he's like, What are you talking about? What are you talking about? He's like, the bag with all the envelopes in it. What if somebody?
Don't worry,
nobody's
sweetheart.
Gonna take that here.
Don't worry. Yeah.
No, I just absolutely love that scene.
Mm-hmm.
That's
mentioned The Godfather too. I don't know. I thought it was like a call to The Godfather. Because in The Godfather, they say, he's like, all that money in that bag. And then it's like, they know who I am. No way, no one's stealing it. I that's what I thought right away, that it was like a little callback to The Godfather. Because obviously every mob movie ever made past 1972 is going to be influenced by The Godfather.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I look for every little callback I can find.
Oh no, and that's absolute. It almost certainly is one. Oh, Maron, if this was somebody else's wedding.
Yeah. Oh man, but her performance was really good, and their scenes together, like He did get a little too physical with her.
Oh yeah,
So
obviously.
yeah, a lot of piece of shit stuff.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot
and he
of
like don't get me wrong, he never like I don't mean that their relationship was the thing that kept me in it. Like, oh, I love them. They're so cute.
mm,
No, like they're
yeah,
terrible for
yeah,
each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
But like
That's the
their
point.
scenes were fantastic.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
point. The whole point.
oh, it certainly
So
is. Well, it just goes to show like the resentment that's built up in this like in this lifestyle. Kay had it against Michael Corleone.
mm,
Carmela has it against Tony Soprano. Karen Hill has it against Hank Hill. Like it's just like
hmm
there's like you can't be happy like a family fucking man and be that family man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man. I mean, yeah, it's a life where they solely focus on family, but in doing so they're ruining the very thing they want.
God, and the way they just like they talked about how it was like towards the middle of the movie where they were like, it all just got so normal. Like we only hung out around them. We didn't hang out with anybody else. The more we hung out with them alone, the more the stuff we were doing didn't seem wrong. And it's like that's the way it goes. It's literally mob mentality. Groupthink.
I mean, if you're reaping the benefits, like it's just gonna make it that much easier to be like, oh yeah, this shit's totally worth. This is the lifestyle. Everyone else who's living is living poor compared to us. Like we can, the world's us. For our taking. Like that's gotta feel good. Like that's gotta feel so good. But,
and like there's like an undeniable attractiveness to it, like a magnetism. Like whenever
all my life I wanted to be a gangster, like
yeah, and the way Karen Hill was like, I wasn't like I didn't just. A lot of girls would have split the second their boyfriend told them to hide a gun. But I was actually horny because of it. Like I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Like, and that's a real fucking thing.
Oh yeah.
Like, because I mean, frankly, if I watch my boyfriend go over there and beat this fucking dude who was touching me the wrong way, I'm gonna be like, you're getting your dick sucked. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that's going down because that's hot. That's some hot shit right there, Ray.
I mean, dude, he started out, after, their first real date, not the first one and the blow off or whatever.
Right.
Their first real one. He was doing pretty well, pretty romantic, was doing all right. And then like the instant they got married, like the instant it was just like, and Fridays are for the girlfriends, like or whatever. And it was just like, oh man, come on.
Same logic they follow in The Sopranos. Friday nights he takes his girlfriend to dinner, and Saturday nights it's Carmela.
I was like,
but
all I was thinking is like, bada bing, this is their bada bing, this is where they're all just hanging out and doing their thing. But man, yeah, this, it's like a good terrible. It's like, how terrible all of these people are, but you just
that's
like
how every mob movie is.
For it. Yeah, you're just in for it, and even rooting for them, which is crazy. Like that is crazy.
No, yeah, it's mad interesting, and like they ultimately like. I come out of this movie and it's like I wasn't really rooting for anybody. Like it was just kind of like, damn, this is going to go bad for everyone involved. You know what I'm saying? Like none of this is going to turn out good.
And maybe that's like the whole mob thing. It's like everyone, like whether they want to admit it or not, would like they want to like be in it. You want to be a part of it. You want to know what that feels like. But like no one would ever actually do it. Like that's the part that's like,
I know what it's like.
Like obviously everyone would be like, if you could spend a day, like a day in a mobster's shoes and then come back in your life, like, oh, I'm taking that opportunity in a heartbeat, just to know what it's like. I'm going to the deli. I'm getting me a fucking meatball sub.
I'm going to Satrialis.
Hey, give me my usual. And then if they talk back, I'm like, oh, I'm doing all the mob
Oh, you know what my
in it.
fucking
Yeah.
usual is, buddy. Give me the fucking usual.
You've never been
Sir,
in here
you've never
before,
been
man.
in here.
But
Oh, dance, pop, pop, pop.
but yeah, I don't know. There is a weird gravitation towards it, Like obviously I would never do it, but like maybe if offered in the correct way, yeah, you never know. Yeah, no, I'm kidding, but man,
Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, I just got an emergency alert on my phone. It says the previous alert was a test. This is a cancellation of the blue alert test. It was a Amber Alert, and the Amber Alert said Gotham City, Missouri, and I was like, "Holy shit! Do we have a Gotham City in Missouri?" And then they're like, "That was a test. It's not real." And I was like, "That makes perfect sense."
Damn it!
I was like, I would have known if there was a Gotham City, Missouri.
This is the only Amber Alert I wished was real. Like that whoever the kid is, I'm sorry, but like for me to know that a Gotham City really existed, like that'd be worth it. Probably not, but man, that would, like, there'd definitely be a Batman. Like, if there was an actual city named Gotham City, there'd be Batman all over. Like, I guarantee, like, bars at night would just be filled with just Batman.
Just Batman.
Yeah, like everyone just in Batman, just cosplay. Everyone, the whole city.
They've made it their whole personality.
Or yeah, no, it's just you pick someone from Gotham City to play. It's you just
they're like they cast a bat signal up every night just because.
There's like just 1,500 bat signals just in the sky. It's like a tenth of the city's budget is to power the Batman spotlights.
That's fucking funny.
Wow, Goodfellas.
I just had to point that out on the podcast because I almost brought it up earlier. Like, holy shit! Did you know there's a Gotham City, Missouri?
Damn.
I'm glad I didn't because there's not.
Huh? Yeah, I didn't get anything. Maybe I think I just turned them off. Honestly,
you're like, man, this test failed.
Amber Alerts are just more depressing than anything, and I guess I'm, kind of defeating the whole purpose of them for turning them off because, like, they're just supposed to be another set of eyes, basically.
Yeah. It's like, I'll look for that truck. You know what I'm saying? And it said like purple and green. I was like, yo, this person is moving like the Joker, and they did that on purpose.
That's awesome. Whoever's at the police department or whoever sends those out, that's pretty awesome. That's how they sent the test out as like a Gotham City with green and purple.
Yeah, Gotham City Mo, purple and green, 1978 Dodge. Here, let me see what this car looks like. I gotta know now. 3700 GT. Oh yeah, it's the Joker's car in Batman '89.
No way.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yep. So they definitely went into their bag for that.
That's awesome.
I just had to update live there for you guys because that was too good of an opportunity to miss out on. But yeah, Goodfellas. This movie, it's got the rewatchability on it too. Like, this is actually a real easy casual watch for me. And it probably will be a lot more now that I've seen it a second time. Like, just everything about it is so satisfying. Like, there's something about it that just comes together so well. And it's not like last week. It's not like Dead Poet Society where I'm like, gosh, this story was impactful and like it was just really, really good. It was just like, wow, that was really fucking cool. And that's kind of the whole fucking thing. And it's like, man, don't want to do that. Good thing I never was gonna. Like, I'm not coming away with a lesson or nothing. It's just kind of like,
yeah, whew, glad I seen this movie. Now I'll know,
Now I know not to get into the coke game.
Just in case, just in case I was thinking about it. Now I know.
Yeah, definitely don't find your way into the mob.
So, probably easier, a little easier than you think to find your way into the mob. You find yourself in one crappy situation to the next, and you got no one to turn to. You got to turn to the boss, and then
I thought they really did an impressive job there with that. They were explaining a bust out early on in the movie, where they were like, this guy, he couldn't afford to pay the shit off, so like we were like, all right, let us run our business through here. You order the products, we sell them out the back. You order the products, we sell you out the back. You go bankrupt, and that's it. We do nothing but profit.
Just makes you sleep good at night, What a
shitbag thing to do. We're gonna destroy this guy's fucking life. But hey, I'll get a new mink.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. Every movie that's added onto this list, I'm just glad it's added to my repertoire that I've seen it, and I'm just, I don't know, glad that we started this project in the first place. I'm loving me some Martin Scorsese. Learning that to be true. So, man, yeah,
I'm sorry. I texted my girlfriend because she also screenshotted the alert and sent it to me upon me seeing it, and was like, "Did you know there's a Gotham City, Missouri?" And so I text her. Apparently, there's no Gotham City, Missouri. And she goes, "Oh, what? Why not?"
Oh, why not?
I went. Apparently, it was a test. Frowny face. So sad. And then I went. I mean, not sad. Good thing there's no missing child. But
fair. That is.
I think it was just hilarious that immediately both our minds went to, "Aw, there's not a real Gotham City, Missouri."
Yeah, fuck the kid. Like, oh,
fuck the kid, bro. But I really wish there was Gotham City, Mo. That's just terrible shit right there. That's just scum of the earth content right there. Fitting that it would come on an episode about Hank Hill and these mobsters. Just real pieces of shit.
See, I wonder if this won a.
It won 3 Kansas City Film Critics Circle Awards.
Way.
Best Picture,
gosh.
Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci. He also won the Oscar for that.
Wow. Would you look at that?
Yeah, 3 Kansas City Film Critics Circle Awards. It was a big one for our hometown.
We like the mob movies. I wonder why.
Every time, we always do. I just like to imagine someone going up there and giving them an offer they can't refuse. Like, it's gonna be fucking Goodfellas.
You better.
It's like why? Are you like a producer on it? No, I just really fucking like the movie.
Better win at least 3 awards tonight, okay? If it don't win,
it's 3. It's 3.
If it don't win 3 of them, then now I'm coming over tonight, and you're not gonna like it.
No, yeah, this movie fucks.
Indeed.
I think I've said about all I need to say about it. I will say Bob De Niro's performance here. It's interesting because I found myself for about an hour and a half going, he really didn't have to do much. He just kind of had to sit there and say a couple things every now and then. But it's really the last 45 minutes to an hour that he's really, really in it. He's a big part of the movie, the last act, and he really pulls it together there at the end. Joe Pesci dominates throughout the movie. Ray Liotta is like a perfect voiceover. And a perfect character to follow throughout here. Like I've said, Lorraine Bracco was amazing. Fuck Billy Batts.
Fuck him, man.
Yeah. Fuck Billy Batts.
Fuck that guy. We gotta fuck that guy for the 80s already. That's good. Hopefully we'll remember.
For the 90s.
Sorry. Wow. Crazy. That we're there. That is insane. 90s.
Yeah. 20 years of movies so far.
Jeez.
This is our 21st, I believe.
Man.
Pour one up.
It is. Wow. Cheers.
Here. But I think we're ready for the rating section of this pod.
How'd you enjoy it?
Yeah, for me, that's a 5 out of 5. That's a straight up. I really enjoyed this movie.
I'm glad.
If not a 5 out of 5, like a 4.8, 4.9, like it's really high.
4.95? No, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I was comfortable with the 5. I mean, I love this movie. I was entertained all the way through.
Yeah, I
As
was.
a
Like,
first watch, it was really good. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, like this is post Dead Poets. This is just how well we connected with the movie. How well did we like this movie? That's all that matters. It doesn't matter comparatively to other works. That
no, it
doesn't
doesn't. It
matter.
doesn't. It never does. No, I'd say you know what? I like what you threw out a second ago.
A 4.95.
Cuz I don't think it's a perfect movie watching experience. Like, I don't think, like, there are certainly elements of the movie where I remove myself. I retract myself, and therefore I can't say I was quite as in it as enjoying myself and enjoying the content before me as I have in previous films. Or
Okay, you know what? Maybe looking at other films and comparing it could help.
it
Because
can.
My Neighbor Totoro was a 4.85 in enjoyment, and I don't know. I guess
Did I enjoy this more than My Neighbor Totoro? Maybe 4.9 is more accurate. Like a little bit, but not much.
Mhm.
Like, I definitely liked it more. And like 5, that's like we said last week that we have like 4 or 5-star enjoyment movies, right? Godfather, Star Wars, Indy, and Dead Poets.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah,
correct.
it's not those.
Mm-hmm. It's a 4.9.
Yeah.
Whenever we were saying 4.95, I just typed in 4.9. I don't know. 4.95 just seemed
It's
a little
generous. Like,
egregious. It's basically a 5 anyways if you're going 4.95.
right, yeah.
So like
No, 4.9 is the right
so
move
it just
because,
felt
like,
more right.
it's definitely the right move, because I did have gripes with this movie, as I have voiced, and I have said there are Scorsese movies I enjoy more than this. They're like, so it's not a 5, but it's high. I really enjoy it. I certainly like it more than Taxi Driver.
As a mob movie, as a crime drama, I guess if you want to, throw that in there, like
That that's got to be a 5, right?
I mean,
This is another genre defining movie.
yes.
Like Godfather and Goodfellas. These are the 2 mob movies that are a must.
You have to be able to say that if we're giving it a 5. It has to be genre defining. Whenever you think of a mob movie, what movies come to your mind? And it is Godfather and now Goodfellas. Like that is what will come to my mind immediately are those 2. So yeah. I mean, like, Scarface is behind, like Goodfellas. Like I would have to think. I would have to go past like my surface level thought to be like, oh yeah, and Scarface, and
When I'm thinking about when I think about our 80s movies, I have a tough time remembering what our 83 movie was, and it was Scarface. So like,
this one,
that's certainly not a genre definer.
Yeah, this one is a good way to kick off the decade, that's for sure, and definitely a genre defining movie. So I'm comfortable giving her the 5. And now all that remains is how it did as a film. We did say it had some pretty cool shots. Even the scene where he is taking her on the first date, walking in that entrance, it's a oneer, like it's following them all the way through. Was the awesome.
Shot of Karen Hill, the shot of Joe Pesci on the ground. Like, there are some memorable shots. The shot where they're digging the hole and that red glow is just overtaking the screen, pretty much. Like,
and the pacing is like great. It's like,
it is a perfectly paced movie. Like, it flows really, really extremely well. My big gripe still, though, is with a lack of like stake in the story. Like, while we started this podcast saying we know these characters well, I couldn't care less.
True.
about them. Like,
And I
the only
wonder.
character who I cared about, who I wanted to see do okay, was Karen, because it's like, damn, man, like, no, you just keep getting sucked in further and further. And
I wonder how this viewing would have gone if I haven't seen The Sopranos, because throughout the whole time I was like, oh, so that's the Chris, that's the Tony, that's the, I was making the constant comparisons the whole time, and I'm like, okay, so he's this character, so I know like a little bit about him. I can just assume if these characters are like the same, like I can just assume what they're gonna do and what their type is. But
you can make those connections, yeah.
if I haven't seen The Sopranos, I think you still get that like right away. Like they just make their characters known, like who they are, and like their personalities are very
pretty plainly, yeah.
Yeah, so
like,
but I mean, I don't think that, I think that's a good sign that like even without watching The Sopranos, this would definitely be like the same. I'd have
definitely
the same exact experience. So I mean, I'm high up on this one. I don't think it's up to the level that like Dead Poets was like crafted, or like so I mean Dead Poets was a 4.9. I mean I'm thinking this is like right up there with it though.
I was thinking 4.85.
Okay, cool.
That's like where I've been since we started the conversation. So I'm so glad that you were like right there with me.
Wow, the math just works out. Okay, wow, that is super interesting. We've used the numbers 5, 4.9, and 4.85 for every movie in May, just in a different slot for every one of them. We've done every possible like combination, so they're all tied at 4.92.
That is fucking outstanding. We're just on a roll of movies like that's like these are all so fucking good. So what that makes Goodfellas tied for our top 5 again? Like we've just kept
7
tying.
movies are now in our top 5. Well, that's not including Star Wars. So if we wait, maybe that is. Hold on.
That is including Star Wars.
No, that is. Yeah, 1.
Because we've got 3 tied at the 5.
4.93. Godfather takes second place. Raiders, yeah. So Godfather and Raiders tied for second. Star Wars in first, and then
these 3 movies.
And then these 3. So
6 tied for our top 5.
6 tied. Yeah, 6 in our top 5 now. Okay.
That is hilarious. God, like we've used 4.85, 4.9, and 5 for all 3 of them in all 3 different categories.
Oh, as a film, My Neighbor Totoro and Dead Poets were both 4.9. Gotcha. But like, yeah, we interchanged them every now and then.
Damn, that's fucking cool. There you have it, folks. This is another 4.92 out of 5 stars on the old Penny Bloom scale, and what a fucking way to kick off the 90s. And it's looking like, if I had to guess, May is going to be a whopping first place after this month concludes with our 1991 flick.
It's already a 3.69 if the next movie is a 0 as a monthly rating.
That's pretty good.
And
That's
the month of April was a 3.91, so it almost is beating April with a 0 as the next movie, which is Boys in the Hood in 1991.
I can promise you it won't be a 0. I can promise you that. Yeah, Boys in the Hood. That's a good one. That'll be an interesting one to discuss. Yeah, very, very much so. Looking forward to that. So yeah, 1991's Boys in the Hood next Friday.
Last movie of May already. Wow, man.
5 months in, man. Like we're almost done with 5 months of content. Like we got 7 more to go. Still not halfway there, but hey, we're doing our thing.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. So yeah, that concludes the Penny Bloom podcast. It was I, Colton Robertson, and I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much for being here, buddy.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, it is always a pleasure to have you. And if you would, head to patreon.com/CoraBloom, where you'll find well over 20 hours of exclusive content at this point, including just tons of content in 2022. Changed the style up from the 2021 Patreon to 2022 Patreon. A lot more organized, flowing a lot better. So I look forward to anyone heading over there to support. All that money goes back into making sure that this podcast can happen. And they're getting fed. I'm at least 2 episodes a week, 2 installments on the Patreon a week usually. I'm at least get 1 over there, but usually going for 2, 1 on Sunday, 1 on Monday, just a little double feature for you. Post some art up there every once in a while, exclusive there, nowhere else. If you would, follow on Twitter at PennyBloomPod, where if the movie for next week is to change, and right now it is 1991's Boys in the Hood, and I'd say that I'm pretty confident that's going to be the case. This might be more subject to change than most movies we've had so far, though. I don't think it will. Boys in the Hood is probably going to stick. So I look forward to that greatly. But if you didn't, if we do end up changing it, you'll find out on Twitter at PennyBloomPod. Follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure to share with a friend. And, peace, love, bloom. Doesn't matter. Fuck you. Pay me.